Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Roberts, founder of Shades of Talent, and I'm excited to introduce our very first webisode of what we like to call Shades of Talk. And it's where we chat about the real deal of being a person of color in the performing arts. Our first episode today is all about auditioning. So please stay tuned. Join us in the conversation. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, give us a like, a heart, share so that we can continue to grow our Shades of Talent community. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I am Erica Roberts, your host, and I am super excited because I have the entire Shades of Talent family here joining us today. Keta Richards, right here to my square next to me. Down below, we have Kendra Christelle and Lynette Burton.
Hey guys.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you all so much for joining us today. A little fun fact here for our followers that may not know this. We all met doing Hairspray, the musical, which was about 2.5 years ago. I cannot believe it was actually 2.5 years ago. It seems longer. And among the four of us, we all have varying levels of experience performing in the arts. But the one thing that we do have in common is the audition process. We all have to go through that. I want to start with just getting everyone's input about the Hairspray audition, because that was kind of different. Hairspray is I think one of the few mainstream productions that actually calls for a diverse cast. So you go in and you're hoping, right, and expecting to see other people of color there. So I just kind of want to go around and just, everyone just kind of share, what their experience was like, going into that audition. Because I will say this, I think it's safe to say we all went in there auditioning for the same role, right? For Motormouth Maybelle.
Which Keta stole, absolutely.
So
robbed.
Yes. I was slighted.
Well, Lynette, why don't we start with you? What was your experience like going in and auditioning for Hairspray?
Well, for me, it was totally different than the auditions I'm used to because most of the plays that I had been in were historically Black plays, like for instance, Fences and for Colored Girls Who Consider Suicide When the Rainbow Was Not. So it was different from that. And the other part is that it had been so many years since I had actually tried out an audition. I didn't really know what to expect, but I mean, it was fun.
Yeah. How about you, Kendra?
It was definitely it was like trying to relearn how to ride a bike. I before that I had done the Crucible, and I was the only Black person in the cast, the only one, because there's only one character. So I went in, and before that I was in plays that I had written and directed myself. So I had gone in and was just hoping for something different, to do this musical, which is one of my favorites, and to see more people who looked like me, and to just kind of really be more comfortable. And so and that's actually I actually got what I wanted. So
yes. And Keta, who was cast as Motormouth Mabel, what was your experience?
I honestly remember being super, super nervous, like totally not knowing what to expect because it was my very first audition ever. I wanted to be super prepared, and I feel like I was, but at the same time, I was afraid that there were going to be folks who just kind of, completely overshadow what I did. And but it ended up being like a really cool experience. Everyone was super accepting and made me feel very calm in a situation where Lord knows that I just wanted to go hide somewhere. So, but it ended up being a really cool one. But I have to admittedly say it was super, super, super scary.
Yeah.
For first audition.
Well, that was my very first audition as well. And the funny thing is, so it was a lot of people there that day. And I remember they had us in like 3 or 4 different groups. And like I don't think any of us were in the same groups. I think we were all in different groups, right? Yeah. So, but I was looking. I was like, every time we would pass the hallway and we were passing another group, I was
I
trying to
ain't
find like
seen none of
another.
y'all.
Same.
I was like,
I ain't seen
who else
none of
here? Is
y'all.
there another Black woman here between 30 and 40 that could be auditioning? And I was looking. I was like, you know, but I did not. I don't remember seeing either one of y'all there that day at the audition. It was just, it was very organized, I thought, but it was just like so much going on. I do have a question though, just kind of going into, you know, inclusion and diversity, you know, how much responsibility do you guys feel it is for directors and theater companies to like actively reach out and recruit more people of color to come into their theaters to audition for, you know, their plays?
I mean, I'd say half the responsibility is theirs
Mhm.
at least because, um, of course, as an actor, you do have to get up, you do have to, make the moves and make the decisions and go to the auditions and keep an eye out and, go after what you want and be proactive in achieving your goal and getting that role. But as a director and as a producer, this is your production as well. And your focus should always be the best production that you can put on. And you should always be thinking of who best to fill those roles and making sure you have a diverse pool that you're choosing from. And if the pool doesn't come to you, then you need to go after what you're looking for. So I think the responsibility is 50-50 on half with the director and half with the actor or actress.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I agree with that. And especially in this day and time when the country is divided, you need to bring it more unified. And so you have to go out and do more than you normally would do.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Do you guys feel like the face of theater is changing and moving towards, you know, more diversity, more inclusion, especially like as Lynette said, this year with everything that has happened, and it's kind of this, you know, awakening, you know.
Oh yeah, not just theater. I mean, music, the inclusions, and you're seeing shows on TV where they're having different genres, and it's trying to bring everybody together because of COVID. So it's just a matter of time.
I honestly think that it is moving in that direction, but we need people like us to go out there and actually support that effort, you know?
Mhm.
We don't want it to be a thing where it's just the 2020 type thing because,
Yeah.
it's what everyone's doing, so we should do it. This is something that we should continue to further. And
Yeah.
the only way to do that is to be a part of that movement. So
Mhm.
I think we're moving in that direction, but it's up to us to really further that movement.
Well, I'm going to kind of switch it up a little bit because a lot of our followers have reached out and asked us about tips when it comes to auditioning. So I just kind of wanted to go around and have everybody share, you know, like what is your best tip for auditioning, or, you know, what is something that you do to prepare for auditions? So I'll start with you, Kendra, because I think out of all of us, you have gone through the most auditions.
Well, I go ahead and get my whole beating up of the self out of the way. I start with that because preparing for an audition is nerve wracking, and there's going to be a lot of I shouldn't be doing this, or I can't do this, or this isn't for me. So I go ahead and get that out the way. I have a good hour or two of that.
Okay.
And then I pace myself. Auditions are posted in advance. So I pace myself on this day, I'm going to work on this day, I'm going to do this. I figure out what kind of audition I want to have, what I want to be perfect on, see where I am, and then you schedule days to work on these things. A lot of the auditions that I do are musicals. So I do make sure I take care of my voice. And that means no drinking,
Yes.
throat coffee and fisherman's friends and, honey drops and Vicks steaming and all that kind of stuff. And then one important thing I always try to do is the sides that they give you or whatever you're reading for your audition, memorize it. For me, it's so much easier to act if I'm not holding things in my hand or trying to read it. Like I can connect with my audience. So I try to memorize my sides all the time.
Okay. Yeah, that's great advice. How about you, Lynette?
For me, it's the fact that you got to research, you got to take care of your voice, you got to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
In addition to doing the things that Kendra said for your voice, for me, it's really important. So I go out and I walk a lot because you're going to have to hold some notes that you probably didn't want to hold.
That is very important. Yes.
Kendra taught me that.
People don't realize it sounds silly. You're like singing and dancing. It's harder than you think. Like, yeah, it does.
Girl,
you have to build up that stamina.
PTSD, okay?
But wait, do y'all remember that time during Hairspray, like towards the end where everyone's on stage dancing and singing at the same time? And there was a moment where nobody was singing, everybody was just dancing all hard.
Trying to get our breath. Because you have to build up, you have to build up that stamina.
You do. You'll be in rehearsal with an attitude if you don't, because I vividly remember our music director being like, "Okay, altos, this is your note," and I said, "Who alto are you talking to?"
How about you, Kenna? Do you have a tip or anything you'd like to share?
I would kind of echo some of what Kendra and Lynette said. You gotta be prepared. Like, I can think of one specific incident where I did everything opposite from what Kendra said you should do. I didn't take care of my voice. I didn't memorize any lines. And I showed up there thinking I was going to show out. And Lord, I was so embarrassed. But not only was I embarrassed, but like they had a streaming video of the audition. So everybody who was auditioning with you could see what you were doing. So the entire time I'm trying to sing with no voice at all. I'm thinking, oh gosh, everybody can see this. It's horrible. So anyways, I would just say be very, very prepared. Don't just show up thinking that you're going to know what you need to do, because it don't happen all the time.
All great advice. Thank you. I reached out to a Facebook group for the Georgetown Palace, and I just said, hey, to the directors out there, if you could give one piece of advice, what would it be? I didn't think anybody was going to respond. Child, the floodgates opened up on that thread. And I wish I could share everything, but I just kind of, picked some things that stood out. So I'm going to go through the different feedback that I received. You guys, if something just really resonates, jump in, let me know what you think. So David Shrey says, be ready to experiment. Directors may ask you to read, sing something that you've never in a million years considered, but suddenly you get a role that's crazy fun that you never thought you'd see yourself in. So, yeah.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. Barb Jernigan on rejection. She says, disappointment hurts, but don't let it define you. Wallow in self-pity for a day and then move on. Pick up and go for the next one. I like that. And I'm all for that. Like, I tell my girls that when they're upset or disappointed, I'm like, okay, it's okay to be disappointed for like a day. And then we need to move on, and so I kind of like that too with the auditions.
Agree. Except I give myself 2 hours rather than just one day.
One
day's too much.
2 hours is actually even better.
2 hours.
You can just get on with it. Let's see. Scott Shipman. This is really good. I really like this. He says, a team is not casting just a good actor. They are creating a team of people that need to work closely together. The audience can tell when a group of performers like working together, and they can sense tension too. So be a good person. And he says, P.S., the production team has eyes everywhere.
That's true.
That's very true. But I like that. Do y'all agree too that like the audience can,
absolutely,
when a group is working together really well. Rose Ursina, who is a music director, gave really great.
Hey, Rose!
I love what she says. She says, mistakes are an opportunity to show your humanity. How you react when you forget a couple of words, crack on a note, have to restart your piece, have to sing through bad allergies, whatever. All show the production team whether you will be a good team player or you are somebody that does not react well to unexpected hurdles.
Ooh, that's a good one. Words to live by, for real.
That is really good. Let's see here. Jim Lindsay says, for musicals, take a moment and visit with the accompanist. Clap or beat out your tempo. Let them know of any repeats, codas, special dynamics. And for goodness sakes, do not sideways glance the accompanist if they make a mistake. I think I've done that once. I think I did that for my audition audition with Sister Act with the accompanist, I think something happened and I just kind of inadvertently was like,
Or when you
So-
stop and tell them to start over.
so I'm so sorry. Please don't do that. Do not sideways glance your.
No, I got you
None of
one
that.
better. I walked in the Sister Act and they said, "Do you have music?" I said, "No, I will not be needing your help. Thank you."
Got this.
I had allergies. I couldn't be singing over that piano and fighting like that.
And last but not least, Ron Watson says, be bold, be fearless. The only wrong choice in an audition is no choice at all.
That's true.
That's
Good.
very true. So I totally agree with that.
Completely
Um,
agree. You don't want to have regrets, you know?
No, don't want to have regrets. Don't want to have regrets. So, well, ladies, thank you so much for joining in on this conversation. This has been a lot of fun. I hope this is the first of many more of these shades
Absolutely.
of talk to come forward. So for our followers, please give us a like, a heart. Please share so that we can continue to grow our Shades of Talent community and that we can keep bringing more of this to you. So,
And follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram.
so thank you again, ladies, my sisters.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy holidays. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.